Hello, everyone. Dan at Preserved Word Ministries. Good news, everybody. The book is ready to go. Understanding the Apocalypse of Jesus Christ, my book that we have been using for this study. All the information that we've used in every lesson, plus additional scripture references that I did not read to save time, is now ready. If you would like a copy, we didn't go with the spiral binding because it raised up the costs. It made the postage more expensive because of the thickness and more expensive for materials. And I just wanted to keep the cost down on this. So it is stapled, but it is the full book, 68 pages, understanding the Apocalypse of Jesus Christ, everything we're going through in these lessons again, plus additional scripture references. In the description underneath the video is my email address. If you would like a copy, send me an email and I will tell you how much it is and how to get a copy sent to you right away. I hope you're enjoying this study. We're going to jump in and do chapter 9 today, and pray you're being blessed and gaining understanding in Revelation. Chapter 9. Chapter 9 brings glasses. Chapter 9 brings the sounding of the fifth trumpet, and with this John sees a fallen star given the key to the bottomless pit. This is the prison in which demons are held to await judgment. 2 Peter 2:4 and Jude 6. The fallen star is Satan. He is given the key to unlock the bottomless pit and release the fallen angels for a time so as to unleash their demonic torment upon the enemies of God. This demonic army descends like locusts upon the earth and joins with the Roman army. They are given the power to torment in the same way a scorpion's sting torments a person with horrible pain and suffering. They are given no power to kill directly, but only to torment, and this for a period of 5 months. This is important. So what is the significance of the period of 5 months? In April of AD 70, General Titus and the Roman army had Jerusalem completely surrounded. The army had constructed a wall encircling the entire city, completely cutting off its inhabitants from food, supplies, and escape, fulfilling Jesus' prophecy in Luke 19:43. For the next 5 months, exactly as Revelation says, for the next 5 months, the people would suffer from starvation, disease, mental anguish, murder, and every kind of demonic torment. The Roman army would not break through the city's inner walls and be given the power to kill directly for 5 months. From April to August of AD 70, the torments of hell would come upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, which were not protected by the seal of God. They would seek death and desire to die, but death would flee from them. Josephus records the events of these 5 months of demonic torment from hell. Quote, "The madness of the seditious did also increase together with their famine, and both those miseries were every day inflamed more and more. Thus it was that wives robbed their husbands, children their fathers, and most horrible of all, mothers their babies, snatching the food out of their very mouths. And when their dearest ones were dying in their arms, they did not hesitate to deprive them of the morsels that might have kept them alive. Everyone despaired of himself, for those who were not among the seditious had no great desire for anything, as expecting for certain that they should very soon be destroyed. But for the seditious themselves, they fought against each other, while they trod upon the dead bodies as they lay heaped one upon another, and taking up a mad rage from the dead bodies that were under their feet, became fiercer thereupon. And when they were resolved upon anything, they executed it without mercy and omitted no method of torment or barbarity. For the present sedition, one should not be mistaken if he called it a sedition begotten by another sedition, and to be like a wild beast grown mad, which for want of food from abroad fell now upon eating its own flesh. No gentle affection could touch their soul, nor could any pain affect their bodies, since they could still tear the dead bodies of the people like as dogs do. That's all from Josephus. Murder, torture, madness, suicide, cannibalism, starvation, anguish, despair, such was the 5 months of demonic torment that was suffered by the Jews in Jerusalem. John gives a vivid description of this demonic horde and gives the name of the dark and evil leader from the bottomless pit. In Hebrew, his name is Abaddon, and in Greek, Apollyon, which means destroyer. With the blowing of the 6th trumpet, the 4 angels of God's final judgment are released from having been bound, quote, in the great river Euphrates. The Euphrates River was the northern boundary of Israel, across which God had brought the Assyrians and Babylonians to punish Israel for its infidelity. The 4 angels being bound in the Euphrates symbolized that God had not yet allowed these angels of his judgment to unleash his ultimate wrath upon Jerusalem. With the releasing of these 4 angels, the 5 months of demonic torment are now at an end. These angels have been prepared, quote, for an hour and a day and a month and a year. And that time is now. The Roman army would now break through the inner wall of Jerusalem, and the demonic forces would now be given power to kill directly with the sword of Rome. John sees a vast army of demonic warriors numbering 200,000. Both Josephus and the Roman historian Tacitus record this event as being witnessed by those who were present. Tacitus writes, quote, "In the sky appeared a vision of armies in conflict, of glittering armor." And Josephus writes, quote, "What I have to relate would, I suppose, have been dismissed as an invention, had it not been vouched for by eyewitnesses and followed disasters that bore out the signs. Before sunset, there was seen in the sky, over the whole country, chariots and regiments in arms speeding through the clouds and encircling the towns. The fire and smoke and brimstone that issued from the horses' mouths signifies what is about to happen to Jerusalem and the temple. Both would be destroyed by fire after the Roman army finished laying siege to them. Josephus describes Jerusalem and the Temple Mount as, quote, "a land still on fire on every side. One would have thought that the hill itself on which the temple stood was seething hot, as full of fire on every part of it." And in spite of all this destruction, they had become so apostate, those are the Jews in Jerusalem, that neither God's goodness, which was given to Israel with the coming of their Messiah, nor his wrath, now being poured out, could turn them from their evil ways. Josephus writes of the Jews in Jerusalem at this time, quote, "As though thunderstruck, blind, senseless, they paid no heed to the clear warning of God." Josephus himself appealed to the Jews to surrender, declaring to them, quote, "I believe that the deity has fled from the holy places and stands now on the side of those with whom you are at war. Why, when an honorable man will fly from a wanton home and abhor its inmates, do you think that God still remains with this household in its iniquity? God who sees each hidden thing and hears what is wrapped in silence." A supernatural sign from God had been given to the Jewish inhabitants of Jerusalem 4 years earlier, showing them that God had in effect left. Tacitus writes of this event, quote, "At the Feast of Pentecost, when the priests had entered the inner courts of the temple by night to perform their usual ministrations, they declared that they were aware first of a violent commotion and din, then of a voice as of a host crying, quote, 'We are departing hence.' And to this very day, many represented in the Jewish religion still reject Jesus Christ and continue to worship created things, even the few surviving stones of the temple, rather than turning to the one who can save them." That is chapter 9. Again, understanding the apocalypse of Jesus Christ. This book, stapled, is now available for any of you who would like to have your own copy. Just go to the description. My email is there. Send me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Let you know what you need to do, how much it is, and get a copy out to you for your own study and to share with others, maybe use as a group study at home or in your church. God bless you. Pray you are being blessed by this study, and again, that you are growing in knowledge and understanding. And for those who have entered this study, maybe thinking and even worrying fearfully that Revelation is some future event and they needed to be weary, the mark of the beast and an apocalypse and or other horrible things, not being able to buy, sell, or trade, and all these things were coming, are settling in and gaining understanding that these events occurred some 2,000 years ago. And what we have to look forward to is the second coming of Jesus Christ. God bless you. Take care, everyone.